Welcome back, trainers. So we're going to be going through all of my Pokemon that I have sort of ready for the online PvP whenever that is released. We're going to be going through my Great League, Ultra, and Master League. Only the Pokemon that I have with a third move. Now, some of these Pokemon we are going to be seeing are a bit wacky, just like this Bellsprout here. I did not prepare this for the online PvP, which is something I wanted to max out. And also keep in mind that some of these Pokemon do have moves that are relevant to specific metas for the Silph Arena when we did have that specific cup. So I am struggling with TMs. I have literally 0 of both. I did switch a few moves, and we're going to actually be maxing out and powering up the most expensive Pokemon in Pokemon Go that you can get. That's right. That's going to be at the end of this video. And not only that, you're going to see how I was left high and dry without the moves that I need. So I'm going to have to go out there and get TMs. Anyways, with that said, we're going to be using the resource of Pvpoke. I will have a link in the description. We're going to be taking a look at the top metas here, just browsing and carousing through my Pokemon to see what I have going on here, see which Pokemon that I probably should maybe change as far as the moves are concerned. We're not going to be going over all of their moves here, just kind of brushing through them and looking, like for instance this Infernape here. I purchased a secondary move in hopes of getting close combat, but unfortunately it ended up getting another move. And then we do have this Wormadam, which is a fantastic Great League Pokemon. And unfortunately for the Dragonair, the return move was actually made very horrible for PvP, but I just simply do not have the TMs to TM it away. You're more than likely going to want Wrap or Dragon Pulse. Then, various other Pokemon. We do have my Lugia here, Magnificent. You're going to have to actually trade that and have the attack drop, so you're going to be able to get it into the Great League. I do have duplicates, as you've seen that Azumarill there. The first one we did see at the very top with 1500, then that one there. The reason why I do have duplicates of some of these is because before, possibly I just made one without thinking about the IVs, or they have a better moveset now that, Community Day Pokemon. But specifically for the Azumarill, that was a gift to me before I went to DC, so I do have 2 of those. And now we have Deoxys defense form. So the Psycho Boost is now going to lower your attack every single time that you use it. Do you still want to run Psycho Boost on your defense Deoxys? It's going to be a fantastic pick for the Great League. And I'm going to say, yeah, I think so. I'm going to stick with Thunderbolt because it's just good coverage. Although I wouldn't, put down the idea of having Thunderbolt and Rock Slide. Skarmory is definitely going to be something you want. It is the top meta for the Great League. The thing is fantastic. As a matter of fact, I had a lucky one, and I powered it up all the way to the complete max, and I'm going to be walking it so I can get that 1 level boost to level 41, and I'm going to have that in the Ultra League. So yeah, we're going to be looking at the counters here on this side, so just kind of browse that as we're going through some of these Pokemon here. The Pokemon, let's go ahead and just talk about the spoilers. The one that I'm going to be doing at the end is going to be Melmetal, the most expensive one, because it's going to cost 400 candies to evolve, as well as 100,000 Stardust and 100 candies for that secondary move. And then I'm going to have to power it up. Very expensive stuff over here. So the Serperior is a good Pokemon. It doesn't need its Community Day move. It's going to be a lot better when it does receive it, but currently now, if you can't wait, I personally couldn't. I wanted to make one and test it out, and I went ahead and did that. Those Community Day Pokemon, those starters, are going to be really cheap for that secondary move, so it's no big deal whatsoever. Now, we do have a couple of Blazikens in here, and as we go into the other leagues, you're going to see I have a maxed out, completely 100% IV Blaziken without Community Day. You do not want to be too hasty with those. If you get a 100% starter, which has not received its Community Day yet, you definitely want to hold on to that because it's just going to get so much better when you do get that. You're definitely going to want to evolve it during its Community Day. Anyways, moving through the list of Pokemon I do have here, like I said, some of these are just going to be random movesets simply because I was trying to get a specific move and I couldn't get it, and I just simply ran out of TMs and I gave up on the project and moved on to another Pokemon. Because the TM system is absolutely horrific in Pokemon Go, it does not guarantee any sort of move whatsoever, unless you do have 2 moves purchased and that Pokemon only does have 3 charge moves. Therefore, when you TM one of the moves, you will most likely, absolutely actually, get that move that you're looking for. Now, I did make several Persians, one of which did have return when it was a lot less energy to use, but now it's become irrelevant, and I'm sitting on a Persian, an extra one that I don't need. And then we do have this Lapras here with Skull Bash. That was going to be for a specific Silph Arena Cup. You don't necessarily want Skull Bash, honestly, on that. You're probably going to want to go with Surf and Ice Beam. Then we have another Persian here. Now, this is my good Golbat. I did have a Purified one with Return, but this one's going to have Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb. It's not going to be a Legacy. You have a Registeel, which is going to be something you're going to want in the Ultra, as well as the Great League. The thing is going to be performing great with its new move, Lock On, for the quick move there. And as we take a look at Pokemon on the list regarding top metas, as we move down the list, I'm just going to tell you this right now. Just because they're lower on the list does not mean they're not going to be useful. All right, once you get somewhere around like the 90s and higher, yeah, you probably don't necessarily want to invest too much into those Pokemon, but they're still going to find some use. When you're going online, we still don't know how this is going to work, right? We still don't know how this online PvP is going to work. So before I do continue on, I just want to tell you, be hasty. Don't go and start powering up things and start TMing things. I mean, it's going to be good to be prepared and everything, but we don't know 100% how this is going to work. Are they going to restrict us to specific Pokemon? Are they going to limit us on how many legendaries are we going to be able to use? Are they going to completely eliminate legendaries? I don't think they're going to do that. There might be different sort of settings. We'll just have to wait and see. But a little disclaimer before we move on. Just because you see me with something doesn't mean you need to go out there and make it yourself. All right? If it's top meta, you're pretty safe, right? I mean, you're going to be okay. Like Umbreon for the Great League. Absolutely fantastic, but make sure you do have last resort. You don't want to get stuck up against a mirror match with another dark type, and well, you're doing not very effective. I do have several Hypnos with legacy moves, including a Psyshock one, which I probably should start powering up. It's a lucky one. I don't think I should keep it in the Great League. I think I'm going to take it up into the Ultra League. Yeah, and yes, this Clefable is my only Clefable. I did have two, one shiny, but I actually maxed one out. We'll be taking a look at that here in just a minute. As you can see, I am running low on the TMs, and we do use the remainder of them in this video. Let's just go ahead and TM that one to Charm. It does only have two quick moves, so we're going to be safe there. And this Skunk Take is pretty good. The IVs for a Pokemon in the Great League, if they do not max out around 1500 CP, are going to be around 0 attack in IVs, 15 in defense, and or 15 and 14 in stamina. That's what you're roughly going to be looking for Pokemon that are not going to be maxing out around that 1500. Now we do have a Poliwrath here with a kind of a weird moveset, testing things out. Like I said earlier, going into specific metas, I mean, I don't have the resources anymore to just TM away and fix their moves as soon as I'm done. Maybe the good old days when I was hitting legendary raids non-stop all day, but those times have kind of slowed down, and I just don't have as many TMs as before. And considering that the Pokemon's move pools are now so vast, they're gaining so many more moves, I'm running through TMs a lot more frequently on an individual Pokemon, as opposed to before when they didn't have that many moves. It was like you get it in a couple of tries. Now it's like you gotta burn them all, right? So Toxicroak, one of my favorites, also in the Great or Ultra League, works amazing because it does max out under 2500. And then when it does get that one boost with that best buddy friendship, you will be able to still be under there depending upon your CP. Mine specifically is going to be 2499. So moving on here, there's going to be quite a few. So the Great League is going to be the longest one, and then we're going to go into the Ultra and Master. Now I do have a lot more Pokemon in the Great League because that's just a league a lot more people are playing in, therefore giving me more options to go up against them. As time goes on, when we do get the online PvP, it's only going to be natural that I'm going to make more Pokemon in the Ultra and then Master League, continuing on from there. Moving away from sort of the Silph Arena. Not saying that it's going to become irrelevant or anything like that, but you know, with an online PvP system, that's pretty much what I've been looking for since day one regarding PvP in general. So I'm going to start powering up other Pokemon outside of the Great League because I'm pretty set. The only Pokemon I need in the Great League now are going to be newer, relevant Pokemon that possibly come out in the future generations, because I have them all pretty much at this point. The only thing that I don't have going on for me is going to be correct moves or switching moves on specific Great League Pokemon. But there's no way I can do that unless I had a plentiful amount of TMs. Let's just hope that the rewards for the online PvP are going to reward us that, and they do plan to announce possibly, let's cross our fingers, a change to the TM system along with the online PvP. I think that's what they're waiting for. I think that's what we're going to get, hopefully. Anyways, moving on here. There's my Legacy Poliwrath with Power Punch and Ice Punch. Ice Punch is great on it because, well, you're going to be weak to flying. So if they do, get locked in there with your Poliwrath, at least you'll be able to have some sort of coverage and super effective against them, especially dragons. And there is that Sandslash I was talking about where I purchased a secondary move on it, and then I started hatching the shinies like crazy. Like, oh, okay. Primate, beautiful. Beautiful with a buff to those moves. We have Gyarados with Dragon Breath and Twister that can be TM'd now. I did make Eradicate a while ago when the purified Pokemon were first released in the hype. Probably shouldn't have done that. My beautiful Machamp here, which I should probably start walking now that we know that we're only going to gain 1 level and not 5. That's specifically why I didn't walk it. As you can see, my Bastiodon is absolutely just hideous as far as IVs, and you're thinking to yourself, why in the world would you ever do that? I caught it in the wild, and it was like level 32. It was almost maxed out, so I just said, the heck with it. Let's just go with it. I have my slow Poke and my Pachirisu and my wacky things that I do power up towards the bottom here. And a lot of these Pokemon that are not maxed out that have a secondary move, I just bought them just to prepare, especially Riolu's, because it's going to be a lot cheaper when you do have it as a Riolu. And when you do evolve it into Lucario, it's going to cost a heck of a lot more. Now, moving into the Ultra League, this is going to be a whole lot quicker than the Great League because I don't have as many in comparison here. So these are going to be the top. So basically what this video is just a rundown, giving you a perspective of what I have ready to go. So you can possibly, like we went over, not necessarily make what I have, but have an idea of what's going on out there. If you're just, I wouldn't say clueless, but don't have a great idea as to what to expect from other people. And the Pokemon I have powered up are completely different from others. So keep that in mind. This is not what other people have. This is what I made at first, spending millions of Stardust on these things here. So take a look over here. Kangaskhan is actually going to be a good counter to go up against Giratina because you're going to be that normal type. You're going to take neutral damage from the dragon moves, but the Shadow Claw, it's not going to be doing much to you whatsoever. Kangaskhan having Crunch as well as Outrage is going to be able to devastate Giratina. So I'm glad I made one of those as well. I have both in the Ultra and the Great League. I think they both have a secondary move and they're expensive, 75,000 Stardust a piece. So I was spending money, guys. So I do have my Giratina ready as well. Yep, nice and shiny. Gengar, Machamp. I mean, the Machamp's moves that you may want Cross Chop. Close combat, it's calling for that #1. Rock Slide for coverage. But like I said, I TM'd it once and I didn't have any in reserve. So I was like, I don't know what to do. Should I just keep TMing it until I have no more TMs and then just end up with the same move that I did have? That Salamence was before Community Day. So you're like, why'd you do that? That's why a couple of these Pokemon are. So Blastoise, another magnificent Pokemon for Ultra League, completely maxed out. Same with the Clefable. Just made this one last night. Completely maxed out. I'm going to start walking it as my buddy so we can get it to level 41 and just doing a massive amount of damage with Charm. Do have a completely maxed out Tentacruel as well. Steelix in the Ultra League is going to be performing pretty nice. Going to have to look out for ground and fighting type Pokemon as well as water. I adore my Drapions, guys. So much so, I even explained this in a video a couple videos back. I made 2 because the TM system, I can't even with it. So instead of wasting TMs, I just made 2 and have the movesets that I want on both of them. Alright, and so that's my Legacy Hitmonchan. You don't want that moveset at all. I just don't want to TM it away. We have this Charizard here. I mean, like I said, some of these Pokemon, I just bought a secondary move. I don't know why I bought a secondary move for that Charizard. I really, really don't. This Raichu here was made a long time ago, completely maxed out. And if I max out something, I'm more than likely going to purchase a secondary move on it if it's going to be somewhat useful. Here we have my completely maxed out Skarmory, like I said we've had. And yes, I've used it and it is actually pretty useful. I actually powered up this Sandslash as well to handle my friend's Toxicroak and Drapion back in the day. We do have a completely maxed out Spiritomb. Now, Electivire is going to be pretty good. Thunder Shock, Ice Punch, and Wild Charge, I guess Thunder Punch. You're going to see we're going to try to TM our completely maxed out one to get Thunder Punch here in a moment. Let's see what happens. You know what's going to happen. Everything but what we wanted, right? Alrighty. So we are approaching kind of the limbo of the Ultra League here. Pokemon that are not in the Great League and Pokemon that are just not useful for Ultra League, or at least not powered up. Moving into Master League, these are all going to be Pokemon with 3 moves, okay? So let's see what we have going on here. I went with the shiny. I have a better one I can go with. I have 200s as a matter of fact. I just, you know, shiny flex. But more than likely, not more than likely, in the Master League, you want to go with your best IV. There is no specific spread you need. You need 100. And that's it, right? Well, that's the best that you want to get. I have my Snorlax ready. I have my Armor Mewtwo. Some of these Pokemon are not specifically made for PvP. I just bought a secondary move. And here's where we're going to use our last pitiful charge TM and see if we can get Ice Punch. But yeah, let's just go ahead and do it. What's the point of holding on to my last little charge TM? It's pathetic. And we get Thunder. And we get Thunder, folks. Yeah, let's go. Yeah. Moving along here, we do have the shiny Machamp as well with Rock Slide and Dynamic Punch. Would personally switch them up. We kind of use that as my raid Pokemon, but now that we have Lucario, yeah, I use those, but I still don't have a full team. I hate to keep going back to this, and I don't have a full team of Lucarios yet, solely because I cannot get the moves. That's it. That's it. All right, so isn't it fun? Isn't it fun, the struggle? All right, I wish we can buy TMs, but then it would be like pay to win. You could throw money into the game just to lose it. Really, you could like TM back and forth between moves and then not even get what you want anyway. So I guess it wouldn't really be pay to win. It'd be pay to lose. All right, so we have that Empoleon, which we did make a while back just to show you when the new Gen 4s came out and all that stuff. So yeah, it does not have a Community Day move. We are going to be getting Piplup Community Day this month. So if you did not know that, yes, that's what we're going to be getting. Doing a little bit of a comparison over here with different Pokemon and seeing how well they're going to be performing up against Giratina. And the Staraptor with the buffed close combat, not taking as much energy. Love it. Love it. Alolan Muck is going to be absolutely fantastic in the Master and Ultra League as well. Performs pretty good in the Great League too, depending upon the moves that you do have here. And moving through the Kingdra, yeah, you know, I want Dragon Breath, Outrage, and Octazooka, but I don't have any more, you know what, so we can't switch it up. So let's just go ahead and move into the final grand finale here. The biggest high and dry I've had yet. Maybe, I think. So we're sitting on a 98 Meltan. And I was contemplating, should I wait and lucky trade with somebody and just have the Stardust cut down? But then I was thinking, well, the IV spread wouldn't be as good, possibly. You know, there's a chance of 100 or another 98. And then a Stardust reduction when you do power it up, but not guaranteed. I don't want to wait around, so I just decided to make it. I have the 98. I have the resources. Let's go. Or do I have the resources? Or do I? So I purchased that secondary move, and we're left with Hyper Beam and Thunderbolt. The 2 moves I do not want. All right, folks. All right. Personally, I wanted Superpower and Flash Cannon and or Rock Slide. I think Superpower and Flash Cannon. This is going to be my Master League one. This is going to be my 4th Melmetal. All right, 4th Melmetal. Made other ones. Made a shiny for fun. Made one in the Master League, my highest CP Meltan, just because, you know, when the hype was around. But now we're going to focus on the real stuff here. If you're wondering, where in the world did you get all those candies for Meltan? Well, if you own a Switch, you own Let's Go, you can get as many as you want every 3 or 4 days, is it? I forgot exactly. I think they reduced it to 3 days cooldown. And that is how I got those, because I was on it. When they first came out, I would do it every time I could, opened it up, and collected it every single Meltan. What you want to do is not go outside of the app. Make sure you catch every single one with a Pineapple and you'll be good to go. Also, fast catching Meltans can be a bit glitchy, so maybe hold off from doing that. Completely maxing this thing out here, putting my Stardust where my mouth is, because I am most definitely going to need this for Master League when we do get online PvP. So there you have it, trainers. Just wanted to show you my collection of secondary move Pokemon throughout the different leagues. Show you a few examples on Pvpoke. I know I didn't focus on it and talk about it, but it was on the side for you to take a look at. I will also have a link in the description so you can go and slowly look through it and kind of study up on what you may want to prepare for and or Pokemon you want to make yourself. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. For the most expensive Pokemon in Pokemon Go currently, Melmetal. Let's see where it stands, right there, almost next to Hydreigon. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.